you're just catching the replay or if you're just signing on, we're just going to give it a few minutes here for everybody to get the notification that we're live or just get signed in here. And happy full moon, by the way, or full moon, happy new moon, by the way. Feels like a full moon, feels more energetic because we're in that Leo energy. So I'm just making some notes to make sure I don't forget about anything today. Hi, Diane. Welcome. All right. And I'm going to let people know that we're here. Okay. And it's a little crazy downstairs here. My little guy's been gone. He spent the night at Grandma and Grandpa's last night, and he got home about an hour ago, and he is high energy today. So if you hear him, or if you hear just the energy outside, it's kind of loud outside as well. There's a lot going on right now. Okay, so I just want to get this link copied and share it out. So it is a really nice day outside, and there's probably going to be a little bit of noise. I want to keep the windows cracked until we get done smudging, and then I might shut the windows after that to make it a little quieter. And as I said, my kids downstairs with my husband and things are a little high energy downstairs tonight. So if you are just getting signed on, feel free to say hi. Let me know how you're doing, where you're from. How is this new moon affecting you? And have you noticed a difference with this new moon maybe compared to the last new moon? So feel free to use that chat tonight to interact with our moon circle. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that, you can put those in the chat as well. And I'm just going to gather up these items for our moon circle tonight. Grabbing my tarot cards too. And actually, give me just a minute. Give me just a minute here. I'm not sure if if my child turned up the volume downstairs on the TV or if it was my husband, but I said, hey, turn it down a little bit. He's like, sorry. Okay, so I think that we will go ahead and get started here. You might want to have something to write with, something just to keep track of any notes for tonight or anything that comes through. We are going to do a meditation exercise tonight, and something might come through from that you want to record or write down. This replay will be available here. I put this up on YouTube and on my website, and I keep it up on Facebook as well. So you've got plenty of ways to access the replay if you want to come back to it later to take those notes, or if you just want to write down anything that comes to mind from this transmission, if I didn't already say that. The other thing that we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a little bit of breathwork practice. We're going to work on clearing our throat chakra and helping us align with lion energy because we are in the new moon of Leo tonight. So yeah, I just want to say welcome. Feel free to get settled, get comfortable. This is a super casual time for us to just kind of hang out. I'm probably going to adjust my screen here. Here we go. Okay. And like I said, I just want to make sure that I have all of my stuff here. All right. So we are going to start by just taking a few deep breaths. So wherever you are, I just want you to find a comfortable seat. Begin to ground in. I'm going to straighten out my phone because it's moving around. All right, so we're going to find nice supportive posture here. We're going to bring our hands to our heart. We'll inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And take an open mouth exhale, bringing hands to heart. Let's do that 2 more times. Maybe with a little bit of sound. And 1 more. Just getting out anything that you need to, anything feels stuck. If you want to move your body around, just get settled in as we prepare for our virtual new moon circle tonight. So if this is your first time tuning in with me, my name is Vina Lene Rachel. I am a moon priestess, an intuitive, and a channeler of the divine. That is what Vina stands for. Vina is my spiritual name. And I've been working with the moon now for, I would say, about 9 years. And working with the patterns of the moon, especially the new moon and the full moon, have really helped me to align my own life. It's helped me to find a lot of self-healing, both with some physical things, physical ailments, physical illness. It's helped me to find deep emotional healing. The moon has helped me to understand my menstrual cycle and my fertility journey, my fertility cycle. The moon helped me conceive my son. And the moon is kind of like how I run my business. I run my business and I revolve my life around the moon. And one of the things that I've been doing for a couple of years now is showing up with you virtually every new moon and full moon, if I can, to do these virtual moon circles. You know, especially in the past couple of years, it's been harder and harder for people to come together in person. And so this is a way for us to come together here in the ether and still be able to talk, answer questions, provide any, any insight, share any comments, and also just share a little wisdom and knowledge about the moon. So if this is your first time with me, I welcome you. I want you to be comfortable here. Even if you're catching the replay, if you have anything you want to put in the comments, feel free. I do go back and check these after the transmission is live. I do go back and check them on the replays. So yeah, just make yourself at home. We're actually going to get started by building up our circle using the 5 elements. And this is something I do with every moon circle. And if you don't have these elements at home, it's okay. You can simply take in the energy from this transmission, or you can, if you do have these elements at home, bring them into this circle or maybe into your own personal private moon ritual or moon ceremony here after this transmission. We're going to start with the element of earth. We're going to start with a crystal, and we're working with sunstone today. So I'll get that nice and close. Sunstone, it's kind of this orange, yellowy, white crystal. And we're using sunstone because we're in the new moon of Leo, and Leo is ruled by the sun. We're also in the solar season of Leo, so we're in the solar season of the sun. I know that sounds like a double, but it's true. We're in the solar season of the sun. So we're working with sunstone tonight. This is a great stone to use for abundance, to work with your solar plexus, and to give you more confidence and willpower. My baby might be crying on the other side. We'll see how things go. Well, we're also going to work with the element of citrine tonight. So I'm wearing my citrine mala. Citrine are these yellow stones here along the mala. Citrine's a pretty common stone. You can find it a lot of places. It's another one that works with the solar plexus, the energy of abundance, the energy of confidence and willpower. And these are great stones to be using with Leo season, Leo moon, moons, full and new, and just kind of that Leo energy in general. So if you're a Leo on this transmission, these are stones that you might want to work with when you're feeling a little low frequency, when you're feeling like your fire's not burning as strongly, like your light's kind of dull, your shine is kind of dull. When you need to really glow up, charge up, you're going to want to work with maybe sunstone and citrine. Now I'm going to bring in another earth element. I always bring in some sort of smudging stick, and tonight I'm just bringing in white sage. I'm actually bringing in California white sage. You know, California is on fire right now, and I think that during this new moon, during a time when we're really told to kind of turn within, to kind of work on ourselves so that we can work on the collective, I think one thing that we can do tonight is really hold California or any other place on the West Coast or anywhere around the world that's on fire and burning right now. I think that we can hold those places in our hearts right now. And so I just want to honor what's going on there by burning California white sage tonight. So I am going to combine that with the element of fire. And when I do that, I start to create the element of wind or smoke. Now, one great thing about burning sage, or one great thing about smudging smoke, is it really helps to clear the air. So we're honoring this, you know, California, this West Coast being on fire, but out of it, we're starting to see another perspective, right? The smoke shows us that there's another side, that there is a veil to a side that we don't normally see unless we bring in other elements. And it smells really good. When we smudge, we cleanse the air, we purify the air, which means both with little microbes, bacteria, and viruses, and also energetically. So I'm just going to take a moment to cleanse myself here. I always like to, you know, make sure that I'm really going all the way around wherever I need to. I'm going to cleanse these spaces as well. By the way, I don't know how it's going to show up on the video with the lighting or anything, but I had intense acupressure done on Friday, and I'm quite bruised from it. So if you see bruises on me, it's from the acupressure. And we'll talk a little bit about self-care tonight. I'm starting a regimen through somebody who practices traditional Chinese medicine. I'm trying to heal some things with my body. So yeah, so we must not need to purify the air too hard. The smoke's already starting to burn out, but I do want to make sure to send you some of this smoke as well. I think I'll go ahead and light it up just one more time. So I'm going to smudge the technology that I'm using to communicate to you with, just so that we're hoping to not have any distractions there. I'm energetically cleansing that. And also when I send the smoke out to you through the ether, you receive it as well. So this cleanses you. One thing, great thing about the ether, the way that we communicate here with the technology, is it withstands space and time. So you're receiving this, even if you're catching the replay, you're receiving the cleansing properties of this smoke. I'm going to continue to use my tech. I'm just going to go all the way around. Good. And then just my space that I'm in here, creating that sacred cleansing of the space that we're going to share and the space that I'm channeling from. All right, so we'll just continue to let that burn as long as it needs to. And we're also going to bring in the element of water. So first off, just have some water with you, especially right now because we're in the season of fire. We're ruled by the sun. We need to balance out that energy sometimes with water. We need to stay hydrated right now. So make sure that you've got plenty of water. But I also use essential oils. And so the essential oil I'm using tonight is bergamot. And bergamot smells so good. It works with your solar plexus. It's the oil of confidence, and it really helps you to show up to yourself every single day. Now you could rub this, I always suggest diluting, so maybe diluting with some coconut oil, but you could dilute this or with some olive oil, rub it on your belly, or you could simply smell it, diffuse it. I'm just going to take it in and smell it for a moment. Now, if you don't have bergamot, but you use essential oils, one you probably do have is lemon. So if you don't have bergamot, bergamot is a citrus oil, so you could easily use lemon or even wild orange. Wild orange is a great oil to use with Leo season or Leo energy. And then lemon really invigorates you and awakens you and ignites you. It's also an oil associated with the energy of the sun. So any of those oils would work to help you align with this Leo new moon energy. And again, you could use those, any three of those, the three ways that I mentioned, like rubbing on your belly or somewhere on your skin, diluted, breathing them in, or diffusing them. Okay. So the fifth element I already mentioned, it's the ether. It's the space that we're sharing. It withstands time. It withstands space. I'm a little tongue-tied tonight. Sorry, guys. It's a space that, you know, we can come together and the energy will constantly grow. The more people that watch this transmission in the future, that watch the replay, the more the energy will grow here. And everybody that's already connected to this transmission, the people that will tune into it in the future, will feel the energy of those that have connected to it in the past. So it's a really beautiful element to bring into our circle. And as we bring in all of this energy, our circle is officially sealed with the elements. And I also like to bring in the guides and the guardians of these elements as well. So I treat this kind of like a sacred prayer, but you could also just kind of listen as a meditation or just kind of hang out with your eyes closed, tuning in. If you do your own invitation to bring in the guides and guardians, you could be doing that as well. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and again, find my comfortable seat. I'm going to take an inhale, sweep the arms overhead, bring a nice breath down to the heart. And with that, I'm going to call on the guides and the guardians of the East with the element of wind. That element that ushers in new beginnings. It's also the element of sunrise. In this place where we find that dawn of awakening and that spark of light to move forward. So we thank the guides and the guardians of the East for being here, bringing in the energy of beginning again with this new moon. We also call on the guides and guardians of the South with that energy of fire, an energy of transformation. Once something is burned, it cannot go back. Many times that fire embraces the energy or the archetype of the phoenix, burning away, being reborn from the ashes and growing into something anew, just like those little trees and plants and grasses that'll grow up from the charred lands of the wildfires. We trust in the transformative process with these guides and guardians of the South. And we thank you for being here with our fiery Leo new moon energy tonight. We also invite the guides and guardians of the West with the element of water, cleansing, purifying water, helping us to feel like we're washing away everything that doesn't serve, and that we're flowing through this life with bliss and peace and ease. And as we maybe dive deeper into our lower frequencies tonight with this heavier gravity of the new moon, we thank the guides and guardians of the West for being here. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with that element of earth and the energy of our ancestors, both those that are related to us through blood and those that are just related to us through the generations, those that we've gained wisdom from, those that we're learning from now, those that are guiding us along our path into our best future. We thank the guides and the guardians of the North for being here. And we also call on the guides and guardians of the cosmos, the ether, what's above us beyond this planet, in that rest of the universe, cosmic energies, cosmic beings, beings of light, angels, archangels, deities, anything else. We thank you for helping us to believe in magic, to believe in what we know is true in our heart, even if it may be different from what others believe. Thank you for helping us to cultivate our own creative magic from within. So we thank the guides and guardians of the ether for being here. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. And let's talk a little bit about the moon. So feel free to tell me how you're feeling with this moon. If you're feeling good, if you have Leo in your chart, if you are a Leo. I want to talk a little bit about the cosmic lion, but first I want to talk about new moons in general. So the new moon is a time of darkness. It's a time when it's a little darker outside at night. We can't see as well. And it's because if we were out in space, it would look like my head was planet Earth. The moon is my fist here. And then the sun is over here shining down. Now the moon is blocking the sun's light, so we can't see it. We're on the dark side of the moon. Little Pink Floyd reference there, but that's where we are right now. And when we're in that energy, gravity is extra strong on the earth. And because of that, we feel heavier in our bodies. Now it's subtle. It's not like we're going to weigh a couple of pounds more, but we are going to feel it. We might feel it physically. We might feel tired, just kind of heavy, just kind of case of the blahs. We might feel more unmotivated. We might feel moody. We might feel more in our lower frequencies. Our energy might be pulled down. So we might be angry or anxious or depressed or frustrated or jealous. Or maybe our ego is taking over even because we're having a super earthly human experience and our ego's taking hold of our pride and we're moving out of our head more than out of our heart. And I don't mean our intuition. I mean our ego, that big head, the big-headed, energy that kind of leads us sometimes from time to time. And it can be really great. Sometimes we need that bigger head for confidence and survival and even ways to ascend and succeed and up level, but not all the time. So you might just be feeling a little off. Now you might not be feeling that way because of the Leo energy. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But if you are feeling in these lower frequencies, or maybe you're feeling more ailments and discomforts in your body, maybe you're just feeling like you don't really know what's wrong, but you do feel off. Know that it's kind of natural and you're really just feeling gravity and you're feeling your connection to it and you're having an earthly human experience and you're kind of responding to all of that. And if you're an empath or if you have a lot of sensitivity, if you get emotionally heightened really easily, new moons might be a time when you really feel it. And we don't talk about new moons as much as we talk about full moons. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on there if this is your first time learning about the new moon. Now, every new moon is going to have a certain energy depending on the zodiacal influence. And right now, we are in the solar season of Leo. Now, when we're in a new moon, remember, we're aligning the sun and the moon and the earth. So we're in the solar season of Leo, and then the moon comes in at the same point. So it's also a moon in the sign of Leo. And Leo energy is actually ruled by the sun. So every sign is ruled by a planet, and Leo's actually ruled by the planet sun. It's ruled by the sun. So we have a lot of fire right now. We have a lot of solar energy. We're in the peak of summer if you're in the northern hemisphere. It's really hot right now. The West Coast is on fire. Things are a little crazy. And the moon is actually in a little bit of a wobble right now. This isn't woo-woo. This is actually astronomy. And because that moon is wobbling, it's really ignited with the energy of the sun, we have flooding on the east coast of North America while the west coast is on fire. It's a really interesting energy. There's a lot of polarity there. Also because the moon rules the energy of water, and then the sun rules the energy of fire. So you can see how this is trying to balance out on our planet Earth right now. But with that, there's a lot of tension and a lot of friction that's being created. Now, Leo energy, because it's ruled by the sun, it kind of thinks that, the universe revolves around it. Like, the sun is super important, right? We need it for survival. So Leos tend to have that energy of like, the world kind of needs me, and they tend to be a little attention seeking. Are you feeling needy right now? Are you feeling kind of some unhealthy attachments right now? Maybe that's to people. Really, it's going to be especially to people, but it could be through other things. Maybe it's through social media validation. Maybe it's through acceptance in the workplace, or, maybe where you go to church, or maybe where you socialize, or maybe you've changed, but your group of friends haven't really changed the way you have. You're not really vibing on their level anymore. These are the kind of energies that could come up with this Leo new moon. The other thing about this kind of attention seeking, the universe needs me, the universe revolves around me energy, is it does provide a little bit of healthy selfishness to us right now. Because I think a lot of times, as selfish as we want to be, we do give of ourselves more to others. Maybe it's just mostly the people tuning into this transmission, because I have a feeling most of you are more empathetic, and you're probably giving of yourself more to the outside more than to yourself. You're giving of your energy more to others than to yourself. So right now with this Leo moon, I'm asking you to take back your power. In fact, that's the mantra for this Leo new moon on, if you got my Moon Musings newsletter yesterday. But, I take back my power. Take back your power. Leo's a very royal energy. It's kind of that like king of the jungle, right? So come back and sit on your throne. Start ruling your life. Stop giving away so much of your energy that could be draining you and putting out your fire, because you are ruled by fire energy right now. Even if you are not a Leo, fire energy is ruling you, and you have to ask yourself, how do I feel about that? If you're not feeling the spark, if you're not feeling the light, if you're feeling a little dull, then you need to find a way to rekindle your energy, to recharge, reset, pour some of that love back on yourself. Our heart emits an electric charge. It's kind of like a fiery spark, and our heart's desires, our fiery passions, that all comes from heart chakra. So right now, pour some of that love onto yourself so that you keep those flames burning, and you can continue to show up to the world as your most authentic, excited, fun, joyful, blissful self that everybody wants to be around. People want to give their attention to you because of the way that you are. Now, Leo energy is also kind of known as the performer, or, the person that has a little bit of a leadership role because they do easily get all of this attention. So, as you take back your power with this new moon, you can also ask yourself, how can I take back my own energy? How can I start to really, kind of live this life of fun and live this life of joy and start doing all the things that I love? It's, for some reason, the Leos don't have really a hard choice doing that. And right now with this new moon, it's a time of new beginnings. We're in a new lunar cycle. So this is a great time to start setting some boundaries or setting some intentions to say, hey, I choose a life I love. I choose a life of fun. I choose a life of joy and happiness and bliss and abundance. I choose a life where I take back my power. These are the ways that you can start to integrate the energy of this new moon. Now, if this is your first time working with the new moon comes every about 28 to 29 days. So instead of setting goals like once a year, like on New Year's Day or maybe with your birthday, once or twice a year, the moon gives us an opportunity to start working with our goals and working with our intentions every single month. And we start to work with the energy, kind of the flux and flow of the moon as well. And this really helps us to know how to approach our goals over that 28 to 29 day period. So every single new moon gives you an opportunity to set a different kind of goal or intention. Your goals and intentions right now should be around yourself, pouring love on yourself, making choices that you love, not what others love, deciding that you start to spend more energy on yourself or an equal amount of energy as you spend on others. Start really, asking yourself how your life would be if you really started to live in this way. Probably be a pretty gnarly life. You'd probably have a lot of fun and you'd probably have a pretty joyful life. And if you've ever met a Leo, they're the life of the party. They love to have fun. It's that healthy attention that they get. And they can really kind of initiate a really joyful time. And that's how our life should be all the time, right? I'm going to take a little drink of water here, and then I also want to talk about the Vedic side of things. By the way, before I get to that, I do want to talk about the Lion's Gate portal just briefly. So if you know nothing about the Lion's Gate portal, know that this is a time when the River Nile in Egypt, historically, like in ancient times, used to flood. So it was a symbol of energy rising up and a symbol of abundance because they needed that flooding of the river, the Egyptians and the people surrounding the Nile, to survive, right? The flooding of the Nile helped water their crops. So now it's a little bit different, of course, because the Nile isn't in the same place, but it is a time when Sirius, also known as the dog star or our spiritual sun, it's the brightest star in the sky next to the sun. It rises in Egypt and aligns with the Great Pyramids. Now, when this happens, again, it's that symbol of the rising up of the fire, the rising up of the brightness. The star gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And right now, on August 8th, 8/8, this is peaking. This solar energy is peaking from the Sirius star, and we are really being invited in to embrace our creative energy, to let that rise up from within us, because it gives us that nourishment to turn something into abundance, to turn something into gold. So for example, in my own life, one thing that's really risen up out of me is making these bath bombs. If you don't know, or if you don't follow Sacred Bath Botanica, I make these crystal containing bath bombs and I make bath salts. All of my stuff is charged under the full moon and Reiki infused. And just very recently in this Lion's Gate portal, since it opened up a couple of weeks ago, I've been inspired to make geode bath bombs. So they look like geodes. And then I'm also here in Southeast Iowa in a place where you can get geodes locally. And hopefully here in a couple of weeks at the Pagan Fest here in Burlington, I'm going to have little geode containing, the little geodes inside the geode bath bombs. I can show you what they look like real quick if you want to see. But this is something that rose up within me within this Lionsgate portal. And it's a very creative thing. It's something I love to do. It's fun. It brings me joy. It brings me bliss. And it's also a way for me to create, income, abundance. So this is an example of how the Lionsgate portal could be affecting you right now. You might get inspired with something, or you might just have a motivation to work on a goal you've been wanting to work on. You wanting to take action on for a long time. Maybe you have that energy rising up now. But either way, something's going to start rising up within you to really help you live a better life. I'll show you the bath bombs real quick. So my half one's kind of a prototype, but you can see, it's not very sparkly. That's an example, but I'm still working on those. But these are so cool. I'm kind of in love with them. Here's a gold one. Here's a purple one. They look like geodes. Anyway, I digress. But new moons in Leo are all about embracing our creativity and starting to integrate that into our life as well. It's also about embracing our playfulness. So, think about when you were a child, when, you didn't have responsibilities and you could use your imagination and you could be inventive and you could play and color and paint and explore and you could do all of those fun things without any repercussions, right? Can you embrace a little bit of that playfulness now? Can you embrace the playfulness of the lion cub? Can you embrace the playfulness of your creativity and start doing things that really bring you joy? And by the way, if you're getting inspired to maybe do something that isn't going to necessarily bring you abundance or bring you money, or something that you could sell or integrate into a professional way of living, that's okay. You might just need to get creative for creative sake because you have a blocked sacral chakra or a blocked solar plexus. So sometimes getting creative is simply our medicine. It's not to create abundance or income or energetic support. I want to say money, but there's other ways. Sometimes it's just because we need it to help ourselves feel good, or to cultivate that childlike imagination, or to get creative. So if you're feeling that, it might just be your medicine if you're not seeing a way to kind of integrate it into bringing you money, I guess, or trade or energy exchange. Now, if it is something that's inspiring you to do more, maybe you're not inspired now to sell it, but the more you do the things that you love, sisters and brothers, the more you'll have time to do it. So I used to just love taking time to honor the moon. Now I do it professionally. Never thought I would do that 5 years ago. So you never know what's going to happen when you start devoting more of your time and energy towards the things you love, simply because they make you feel good, simply because they're your medicine. Okay, so you've got a little bit of time beyond the Lionsgate portal peak right now at 8/8, and with this new moon in Leo, you actually have until August 12th to work with this energy. So on August 12th, the Lionsgate portal will close and it won't be open again until next summer. So take this opportunity, over the next few days to really ask yourself, how do I want to live that life I love? How do I create that life I love? And how do I really show up to that life I love every day to continue to ignite my heart with all of the passions and the flames of my desires? Okay. We're going to shift just over to the east side of the world, and we're going to talk about Vedic astrology. So I am no expert in Vedic astrology. I always say this, but I am taking a course on Vedic astrology, and 4 years ago I traveled to India where I was first introduced to Vedic astrology. And because I already worked with the moon and because I already worked with Western astrology, I started to really become fascinated with this more ancient practice. And I say more ancient, it just kind of depends on how you're looking at astrology, whether you're looking at it through the Greeks or you're looking at it another way. But I do feel like Vedic astrology is kind of the foundational astrology that other, traditions and lineages kind of got inspired from, I guess is the way I would look at it. So while I am no expert, I do love to bring in a little bit of Vedic astrological insight just to give you an idea of what's going on there, give you a different perspective. And a lot of times they tend to be a lot of the same types of guidance and wisdom that come through. So in Vedic astrology, this moon is in Ashlesha Nakshatra. And Ashlesha Nakshatra is a lunar mansion or a constellation in the sky that houses the moon. And this particular one is the snake star or the Naga star. Naga means snake. And you can think about this a couple of different ways. You can think about this as kind of like a poisonous, toxic energy. Are you feeling toxic right now? Are you feeling not aligned, misaligned? Are you feeling like not yourself? Are you feeling like you're lashing out like the snake does sometimes? Are you feeling a little poisonous? Are you feeling like you've been poisoned? There's a lot of different ways you can look at this energy. But the thing to know is that the poison is also the medicine. So the antidote for the snake bite comes from the venom of the snake bite, okay? So when we have these feelings rising up inside of us, these dark, poisonous, toxic feelings, or maybe we feel like we've been bit, or maybe we're biting others, when we have that energy, we need to pause and slow down and ask ourselves to find the antidote, to find the medicine, to find the wisdom in the experience. If anything, maybe the lesson is just that you are not going to respond in that way again, that you're going to reprogram yourself and break that conditioning. But we look at the toxic poison as the medicine as well. So I think a lot about shadow work, and this is a really potent time to do it because you have a really supportive energy with Ashlesha Nakshatra to not only discover those shadows and those wounds, but also to provide medicine to them and heal them. Now, another way that you can look at the snake or look at the snake star and this Ashlesha energy is the rising up of the Kundalini, right? So we believe in the Vedic world or in the Hindu world that there are these two snakes. One is a masculine energy, one is a feminine energy. It's that divine masculine and divine feminine. And these two snakes are coiled at the base of our spine, kind of in our root chakra. They're also the energies of the universe, and they're coiled at the root of the earth. So right at the core, fiery center of the earth. And however you want to look at it, as these snakes rise, they cross through the earthly elements, through the planetary elements. In our own body, they cross through the chakras, those main energy centers on our spine. And as those energies start to cross, they start to help our energy flow. And the awakening of the Kundalini is a very creative energy. So a lot of times when we feel this inside of us, we feel energized, we feel charged up, we feel inspired, we do get motivated to start to be more creative in our own life. And ultimately it helps to open up our spiritual eye or our spiritual consciousness. The Kundalini escapes through the third eye, opening up this heightened consciousness so that we can really start to let our spirit guides, our ancestors, our angels, archangels, all of these other beings of light that are above us, we start to open up that channel so that we can be guided by that light and guided by those energies to start to live out our higher purpose on this planet. Kind of the same concept on planet Earth as these energetic snakes move through the elements and start to merge and rise. The energy of the collective and our collective consciousness will start to rise, will start to evolve, and we'll start to live a more spiritual life here on planet Earth. So it's a lot of words to basically say that we are in the energy right now to set intentions to not only take care of ourselves, to journey through the shadows, to heal our wounds, to take our medicine, to help ourselves feel better, but we're also in the energy to rise up as a collective, to rise up and be better, to rise up and live out of a higher consciousness, to rise up and start to rule this life in more of a royal, holy fashion. Now, one final way that Ashlesha Nakshatra can be interpreted is the medicinal star, or the snake star being the symbol of universal medicine. The two snakes up the staff with the wings. We've all seen it representing medicine, right? It does represent an energy for us to take our medicine right now. So I mentioned this already with the Leo energy, or the Lion's Gate portal. Whatever you're craving right now, are you within reason? If you're craving sugar or you're craving chocolate, that might be something else. But if you're craving a certain type of herb, a certain type of food, if you're craving the smell of a certain type of essential oil, if you're craving a certain type of plant medicine, if you're craving a certain type of movie that you want to watch, a book that you want to read, a podcast you want to listen to, whatever you're craving could very easily be your medicine right now. And if you're also being called to heal yourself, if you're dealing with an actual physical ailment or dis-ease, maybe you're dealing with some sort of emotional dis-ease or emotional misalignment of some sort of, hormonal or chemical imbalance, any of these things going on with the human body and the human experience with this new moon, if you're aware of those things, this is a time to actually seek out healing and to start taking your medicine for that healing if you already know what it is. So for me, in my own journey, long story short, I've had some swelling and some lymph nodes in my arm pretty much for the past couple of years, off and on. And it's starting to just, concern me a little bit. But I'm more concerned along the lines that I think that I have a parasite. I think I picked up a parasite in India 4 years ago, and I haven't really had the opportunity to do anything about it because I got pregnant with my son, and then I had him and I was breastfeeding, and then I got pregnant again and unfortunately lost that pregnancy. But, I've really just now finally gotten into a space where I've healed from all of those things, and I've weaned from nursing, and I can actually start taking care of myself again. And so I sought out somebody that practices traditional Chinese medicine. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this transmission, I'm covered in bruises. I had some really intense acupressure done, but I'm also taking my medicine. I started a very intense liver and spleen and kidney detox today, and I'm taking Chinese herbal teas, and I'm taking all kinds of roots and herbs and supplements, and I'm just going really hard, and I'm flushing it out with a lot of water, and I'm being very aggressive, and I'm also just really holding a lot of willpower because I know we're in Leo season, and this Lion's Gate portal and this new moon to really do this right now, have a lot of willpower to show up to my health every day and make sure that I'm eating a nutritional diet that supports me cleansing and staying healthy during this detox and getting rid of any of these little critters that are inside, right? So I, set my medicine that was given to me by this lady. I set it all on my altar yesterday and just let it kind of be with this energy of the Leo moon. And then today I started my detox, and then I'll continue to leave the medicine on my altar, and I'll just kind of take it off there as I use it. But that's a very good example of how we can start to integrate Ashlesha Nakshatra energy into our life with this moon. So if you know there's some sort of naturopathic or homeopathic remedy that you've been needing to do, maybe you just have a medicine that you need to be taking right now, it's time to take it. Okay, so if there's any questions, please put it in the comments now, or just anything you want to comment on, go ahead. Otherwise, we are going to do a couple of things. First, we're going to do a breathwork practice to clear out our throat chakra. We're going to do a little bit of lion's breath, embracing this Leo cosmic lion energy. And then we're going to do a short little meditation to help you embrace the creative energy and also help you to find your medicines. It'll be kind of a twofold, bringing in the concepts of both sides of the world, both sides of astrology into one, integrating it with the energy of this circle tonight. So to do the breathwork practice, I'm going to have you sit nice and tall because you want to really make sure that you've got a nice open neck and throat here. I've got my little lion take on, embracing the lion energy. So when you inhale, you'll inhale through your nose. When you exhale, you're going to exhale through your mouth and you're going to stick out your tongue. You can also look up if that feels comfortable. So it's going to look something like this. And you might have heard that little purr or growl or roar, and that's what we're trying to cultivate. So we really want to get some sound in this exhale. We want to vibrate the throat chakra, and we really want to feel like we're a lion growling or purring or roaring, whatever energy you need to cultivate tonight. We're going to do this 4 times. So get ready. Feel free to join me. Let's take that deep breath in and begin. Again, number 2. Really let it out. Number 3. Last time. Close your eyes wherever you are. Breathe normally, just relax. Take time to notice how you feel. Take time to ground back in. So I'm going to have you continue to keep your eyes closed. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Sit nice and tall as you breathe. We're going to drop into a few moments of meditation. I want you to ask yourself, how can you create a life you love? And I don't want you to put any limitations on this. I want it to all come with ease. Ask yourself, if I could create a life I love, what would that life be like? What would I wear in the life I love? What kind of job would I have in the life I love? What would my image look like? What would my hair look like? Would I have any piercings or tattoos in the life I fully love? Showing up as my true self in the image and style that I love. What would I do with my free time in the life I love? In a life I fully love, who do I spend time with? Who do I love to spend time with? Who do I love to have in my life? Who do I love to exchange energy with? Where do I like to travel in the life I love? And where do I live in the life I love? What kind of home do I live in? What kind of life do I have? Am I married or not? Do I have kids or not? Do I have pets or not? Do I have roommates or not? Do I live with family or not? what does that life I love really look like if I could just make all the choices I wanted to make me happy, to bring me joy? What would I eat in the life I love? What would I drink in the life I love? What would I do as a hobby or hobbies in the life I love? How would I spend my days in the life I love? Take a few more breaths into whatever comes. And let's take one more deep breath in. Open mouth exhale. And gently blink your eyes back open. Welcome back. And I'm just going to give you a moment to write anything down, just really quick. If anything came through, go ahead and write it down. I'm going to grab a drink of water, and then we're going to do a quick tarot reading, and then we'll be done. So what came up in that life you truly love, making all the choices that you love? What does that look like to you? How does that feel for you? Is there anything that you could go ahead and start putting your energy towards now to start creating this life that you love? For me, there's some tattoos I want to get, so I'm setting up some appointments this next week. In this Lionsgate portal. I kind of want to change my hair up. Haven't decided if I want to spend the money on it yet or not. But, you know, the life you love, what does that look like? For me, it's a life that I have energy to be healthy. It's energy to show up to my yoga practice every day and a little bit of a cardio or fitness routine every day or every other day. It's the energy to show up to my sun, my literal sun. But he's my light too. But you know, just having these energies, that's the life I love. So how do I get there? I work on my health. You know, that's the action I can take right now to create myself a life where I feel better. And when I feel better, I show up to my family feeling better, my friends, my work, things I want to do, I have energy for, right? So you can think about it that way as well. So I've got 3 tarot cards here. I'm going to do a tarot reading since there aren't any questions. I'm just going to take a deep breath to reground, and then we'll talk about these tarot cards. I try to always do some sort of card pull with each of our circles as well. And I'm going to try to wrap this up here in the next 5 to 10 minutes too, because we're coming up on the hour. So I'm just going to take a deep breath here. Call on the energy of these cards to bring through whatever we need to hear tonight. Let me be a clear channel to relay both what I need to hear and what others need to hear. And thank you for coming through these cards, making it so easy for us to understand the message by seeing the picture and seeing a different perspective or a different lesson in a different way. So I always pull 3 cards, and I usually pull past, present, and future, and that's what I did tonight. And for our past card, I have, let me get my cards out and make sure that they're in order. So I have the King of Pentacles for our past card. And it's no surprise that we get the King of Pentacles, right? Because we're in that King of the Jungle energy. We're in royal king energy. Leo is a masculine sign, by the way. So it definitely is a king energy. And if the King of Pentacles, I guess if Leo could be a card, it'd be the King of Pentacles, because pentacles are always a sign of abundance. and it's kind of like a big bright star. Think about that Sirius star right now in the Lionsgate portal. And, you know, being ruled by the sun, this yellow energy. We're also being asked to bring in our creativity. This orange represents the sacral chakra, or our creative, a little bit of that water lunar creative energy. And then the yellow represents our solar plexus, or our sun energy. So the King of Pentacles is just very smart with his finances. He makes good investments. He spends wisely. He just handles his money well. And we can look at this as thinking about somebody who handles their energy well. Leos handle their energy well. They can be the life of the party without burning out. They can show up. A lot of entertainers are Leos. They can show up. They can kind of just keep going. And a lot of times Leo energy really inspires you to keep going after your goals. You know, if you think about the lioness energy or the hunter energy, you know, the lioness goes out and hunts, and she sees her prey and she just runs after it, and she will not stop until she gets it. And that's the energy that we have right now with this King of Pentacles card as we're in this Leo season. So I mentioned this is a past card. Well, we have a bit of a fire lit underneath us from our past experiences, right? Like everything we've recently gone through lately, I'd say with 2020 and beyond, we've really been inspired to kind of live our life a different way, to live a life of kind of like finding ways to get creative, to have joy and bliss again. And we're being asked to continue to, manage our money wisely, manage our finances wisely, manage our resources wisely, and also be careful who we're giving our energy to. Okay. Now, as far as just stepping into this recent Leo season, which we did back on the 22nd of July, we're being asked to just continue to cultivate that, to take back our power, to take back our light, to glow up and shine bright no matter what's going on around us, and to just rule our life with that, kind of stability that the King of Pentacles does with such ease. Now, for the present card, I picked the Hierophant. And this is the first time I have picked this card in a reading on a moon circle. So that's kind of exciting. So the Hierophant can be a little bit of a perfectionist, to be honest. So this Leo energy, this wanting to show up to ourselves, I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to always be there, right? Like our energy fluxes and flows. So if you're not feeling like yourself right now, and you usually are motivated, like don't beat yourself up about that. Just remind yourself that sometimes you need to chill out and take rest and recharge before you can begin again. The Hierophant also just reminds us to kind of take a break, like go with the flow a little bit more, but also be smart and listen to our intuition. So he is the consort or the partner or the lover of the priestess. So we're thinking about living our life in kind of a, easy, peaceful, lackadaisical fashion, but in a way that also supports our higher holy self, right? So going back to maybe that Ashlesha Nakshatra influence, asking yourself, what is the medicine you need to take right now? How can you continue to live a life full of purpose, full of joy, full of health? How can you do that right now? Do you need to take a little bit of medicine? Do you need to maybe realize that you're not perfect and you need help? Maybe all the things you're doing to heal yourself aren't working and you need to seek external help now. Maybe that's a doctor, maybe that's some sort of emotional healer, maybe that's an energy worker, maybe that's a spiritual counselor, maybe you just need to pray, maybe you need to ask on your guides and guardians and ancestors and whoever else to be with you. Maybe you need to take an online program, maybe you need to buy that self-help book. There's a lot of different ways that we can take our medicine. human, and that we can come to terms that we're not perfect, that we're in human bodies and humans are not perfect, and we might need to look to the external for a little bit of help. Remember that we are in Leo energy. Leo is prideful. It's that prideful lion. And while that sometimes helps us survive or helps us to stay strong and willpowered and helps us to show up to our goals and to ourselves, sometimes that pride gets the best of us and we think that we're too independent and we can do it all on our own. So the Hierophant comes in right now and says, hey, you may need a little help. You may need to take a step back from that perfectionism that you're trying to grasp and just remember that you're a work in progress. And a work in progress is going to have to fall apart from time to time to reassemble. Now for the future card, I picked the 7 of Pentacles. And it's interesting because we're in this Leo season that is in from the 7th to 8th month, right? So we're kind of in that energy of 7, I guess you could say. And, 7 also represents kind of like alignment. You can think of the 7 chakras or working yourself through the resisting the 7 deadly sins. We can think about the 7 days of the week, working through 1 week at a time, but it's kind of this sense of completion. And so right now, the 7 of Pentacles being pulled for the future, remember Pentacles mean abundance. This is telling us that, hey, your hard work is going to pay off. Keep going. Keep showing up to your goals. Keep working on your dreams because you are going to have such a sense of pride and completion when you find that success on the other side. This could also pertain to your spiritual journey. If you are on a spiritual journey of self-healing or a spiritual journey of healing right now, you are being encouraged to keep going, to keep finding your light, to keep working through the emotions of your sacral chakra. This orange and yellow again, right? Sacral chakra, solar plexus. Show up to the hard work, the shadow work, that emotional stuff that we don't really want to deal with. Now is the time to deal with it. Now is the time to get a little selfish and work on yourself and take time for yourself and put more energy into yourself so that you are more aligned and evolved and you become a better person showing up to your life and to the world in the future. 7 is also the number of ascension. I gotta grab a drink. I gotta clear my throat. All that lion roaring. And I got really excited with that tarot reading. So, King of Pentacles, the past reminds us that we have to take back our power. We have to sit on our royal throne and rule our life. We have to reclaim our sovereignty, and during this Leo season, we can do it. During this Lionsgate portal, we can do it. In the present, the Hierophant says, hey, you're not perfect, and that's okay. But make yourself as whole as you can by taking your medicine and healing yourself. The Hierophant reminds us that we can open ourselves up to ruling our life with a more cosmic consciousness and a spiritual eye. And the 7 of Pentacles says, your hard work will pay off. Keep going. Keep working on your heart's desires. Keep fanning the flames of your fiery passions. You're going to see success on the other side. You're going to see more joy on the other side. You are creating a life you love by healing the aspects of your past that you didn't love. Keep going. Believe in your future. So that's what I have for you tonight, sisters and brothers. I want to thank you for being on this transmission. If you have anything left to say, feel free to leave it in the comments. If you're catching the replay and you want to put something in the comments, feel free to share. I will go back and check these and respond. And otherwise, I just hope you have a great new moon. This is a really energetic moon. You might feel a little different than the usual new moon. And there's a lot of fire, a lot of joy, a lot of bliss, a lot of play, kind of like childlike fun right now with this moon. So have fun, imagining the life that you could have. Maybe take a little time to journal that life, or, do a little yoga nidra to dream about that life. But, don't only dream and write about it, but believe in it. Start speaking it out loud. I'm living a life I love. I am making choices that I love. I do what I want. I do what I love. I do what makes me happy. Speak it out loud and you'll start really doing it. Because actions speak louder than words, but words are the initiator to the action. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be, moon sisters and moon brothers, on this Leo new moon and this Lion's Gate portal. I will see you again on August 22nd for the second full moon in Aquarius this year. Until then, namaste.